Well, it's mid-November, and here in the Great Lakes region, at least, we're getting a little bit of a warm spell here this week. So I thought it would be a good idea to try to get out and catch some late fall crappie. Lake turnover has definitely started. Surface temperatures range from 46 to 47 degrees, and the fish have migrated out towards the main reservoir channel, which is where they'll likely spend most of the winter months. So in this video, I'm going to show you all 40 crappie that I was able to catch, condensed into about a 7-minute video. There were no real small fish caught. Most of them were right around 10 inches long, a few that went maybe 11. And stick around because at the end of this video, I'm going to reveal what I believe to be the best crappie bait on the market today. Before we go on, please remember to hit that like button, ring that bell to be notified of our future videos, and consider subscribing to our channel. These 3 things really help the channel out. Thanks. So without further ado, here are 40 crappie plus 6 other fish in less than 7 minutes. If you've never tried this technique before, I've done a couple of videos on this and I'll put links in the description to those videos. But I would encourage you to give this a try if you've got a trolling motor set up at the front of your boat. All you really need to get started is a rod holder and a longer fishing pole. I started off using an old steelhead rod. This technique works best in lakes that hold crappie in deep water. But if you commonly fish some lakes that are a little bit deeper and have crappie that hold in deeper water, even if there's weeds down there, this can be a very effective technique to slow troll above the tops of the weeds. And the beauty of it is that you can really dial in your presentation. It's also a great technique for locating other fish in these types of lakes. I've also found that this technique, it can be a very effective way to catch walleye on these inland impoundments. The fall can be a great time of year to utilize this technique since boat traffic tends to be non-existent, and in terms of weather you get some really nice low wind days. This technique does not work very well in high winds. It's a finesse form of fishing. You need fine motor control of your boat in order to present the baits to the fish at the right speed. but you tend to get a lot of very calm days in the fall, and it can just be a great way to enjoy a nice fall day. Most of the fish came on one of the two rods, and that's because I was using two different baits. One of the rods I was using quite a bit larger jig and swim bait, and I caught a couple of crappie on it, but 90%, probably 95% of the crappie came on the smaller presentation. And I believe that if I had been using that smaller presentation on the other rod, I probably would have caught almost double the number of fish that I was catching. The reason I was using that larger jig and swim bait was to just locate other game fish. I like having one of the rods out just to better understand the lake and the other fish's movements within the lake, and having a larger presentation opens up the possibility of catching some larger game fish. If you have any questions about crappie fishing in general in the Midwest, or specifically about the technique used in this video, please feel free to reach out either in the comments or even email me. I love talking about crappie fishing, or any type of fishing for that matter. These last couple of fish I caught casting to a school of crappie just to change things up a little bit before I called it a day. So this is the last fish of the day, but now I'm going to reveal what I believe to be the most effective crappie bait to use, especially for trolling or casting for crappies. So before we get into this, I just want to make it clear that I am currently not sponsored by any companies out there, nor would I ever agree to promote a product for a company that I did not 100% fully back. This opinion is mine and mine alone, and again, I would never accept any money or promote a product that I didn't feel was one of the best out there. So with that said, my favorite artificial bait to use for crappie is the Charlie Brewer slider. This bait is particularly effective if you're swimming a jig with plastic, such as slow trolling situations, or even if you're casting and retrieving the bait. And the key is the paddle tail on the end of this drives the fish crazy. I've fished this grub side by side with many of the other types of plastics out there that are made for crappie, but by far this one outfishes them. My favorite color pattern is the baby bass. But you'll notice that the one I'm using in the video and the one that's on the lower of the two here has a yellow tail, and that's because I'm dipping it in a product called Spike It. I like to use the chartreuse. This one happens to have a garlic flavor. I'm not sure how much that really helps, but the chartreuse on this gives it a little bit of a flash in the fish's peripheral vision, especially on that tail that's wiggling around, and it just draws their attention to it. Again, when I have the colored tail, I'm out fishing the non-colored tails by some small percentage. I'm getting more hits when I use the colored tail. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.